So June has come and gone, but I still want to do the mid-year freakout tag. So here we are. That's what we're doing today. Let's just jump right on in. I've got the questions on my laptop in case you see me looking down. Excuse the lighting, I'm filming at night, so bear with me here. But okay, first question. Best book you have read so far this year? Many. Honestly, I've been truly blessed with my reading this year. It has been honestly top-notch, no complaints. But if I were to just pick one, I think a big highlight for me was The Seas by Samantha Hunt. I just didn't expect for it to be so evocative and penetrate the soul the way that it did. So I'm gonna have to go with that one. Beautiful story. I actually have a reading blog where I talk about that book more in depth, but essentially the story follows a 19-year-old who lives in a very small rural coastal town, and she is convinced that she is a mermaid and she needs to be reunited with her father, who walked into the ocean and was never seen again. And while she's at the shore, she actually encounters this man who is a war veteran, and they start a peculiar friendship that evolves into something else. And I won't spoil the book. I think the magic lies with you not knowing really what you're getting yourself into, but just being completely swept into the story by the just gorgeous prose. And I think that book is such a hidden treasure and such a gem that I just want everyone to read it so it's no longer a secret. But yeah, that's like my bookseller recommendation. Every single time somebody comes in and I can sense that they would be into that kind of book, I just guide them towards The Seas. And just this week I've sold 2 copies, so I'm doing the good work. Best sequel you've read so far? Everyone and Their Mother has said Either Or by Elif Batuman, or Batman. I don't know how to say their last name, I apologize. But I'm gonna change it up and I'm gonna say Red Dock by Anne Carson, because this is kind of cheating because I have not finished it, but this is the sequel to Autobiography of Red, which I absolutely loved. I read it in January or February, I believe, and this is no different. This is so beautiful. I'm obsessed with Anne Carson, and yeah, I'm gonna go with this one because it deserves some love. If you've read Autobiography of Red and had no idea that there was a book that talks about sweet, sweet Gary on once again, then here you go. Pick this up. Okay, new release that you've heard or that you haven't read yet but this year but you want to. I heard Sunny from A Sunny's Book Nook talk about, I was about to say Sunny's Book Truck. Not the same, but both great. I heard Sunny talk about Yerba Buena, and it sounded really good. It's a queer love story. Down. I think it might be a coming of age, perhaps. I'm not sure. But it sounded really beautiful, and I want to read it. So Yerba Buena, as well as Chilean Poet. Now, I don't truly know, I'm blanking. I think it's also like a love story situation. It is translated from Spanish, and actually this lovely customer was talking, we were talking a lot about translated lit, and that's a book that they read recently that they really loved by Alejandro Zambra, I think. Hold on, Alejandro Zambra is the name of the author, and I'll read you the little blurb. This just came out, I think, in February, if I'm not mistaken. But it sounds freaking great. After a chance encounter at Santiago nightclub, aspiring poet Gonzalo reunites with his first love, Carla. Though their desires for each other is still intact, much has changed. Among other things, Carla now has a 6-year-old son, Vicente. Soon the 3 of them form a happy sort of family, a step-family, though not such word exists in their language. Eventually, their ambitions pull the lovers in different directions. In Gonzalo's case, all the way to New York. Though Gonzalo takes his book when he goes still, Vicente inherits his ex-stepfather's love of poetry. When at 18, Vicente meets Bru, an American journalist literally and figuratively lost in Santiago, he encourages her to write about Chilean poets. Not the famous dead kind, your Neruda or Mistras or Bolaños, but rather the living, striving, everyday ones. Bru's research leads her into this eccentric community, another kind of family, dysfunctional but ultimately ultimately loving. Will it also lead Vicente and Gonzalo back to each other? ? That sounds absolutely lovely. So yes, I'm looking forward to reading that, and I love to read translated fiction, especially from Spanish, because I'm from Venezuela. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but yes. Yeah, so anyways, those are the two new-ish releases, I think. At least new to me. I'm just gonna say new to me, because I don't even know if they're that new at this point, but I do want to read in the near future. Most anticipated release for the second half of 2022. I have no idea. I don't keep up with new releases. I just add things that I see, either from people that I know, from BookTube, this, or random recommendations. So I don't really keep up with that. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Biggest disappointment this year. I've talked about this book already, but Love in the Big City. I won't trash it any more than I already have, but that book was so disappointing. I had such high hopes, and it just did not live up to them at all. So yeah. And The Corrections, but by Jonathan Franzen. However, I feel like I knew that that book and me weren't gonna jive, so I guess it wasn't really disappointing because I was skeptical. So yeah. Biggest surprise this year, definitely no one is talking about this. I have a reading vlog talking all about it, so I will link that downstairs. But yeah, oh my gosh, it was surprising because I went into it thinking I wouldn't like it, and yet honestly, it's a highlight for me. At this point, it might be one of my faves this year. It was just so shocking, and it was such a delight. So yeah, definitely no one is talking about this by Patricia Lockwood. Favorite new author, Sigrid Nunez, hands down. That woman has blown me away. I actually ordered the only one of her novels that I have not read, and it's the one that Tammy discussed so beautifully, so I'll link her video downstairs, and I'm blanking on the name. I know it has God in there and feathers, but I'm missing the other words. But yes, I am so excited to read it. Hopefully next time I'm in the bookstore, it will have arrived. But yes, she just has such a smart, strong, and such impactful way of writing, and her work is just so distinguishable from the rest. And The Friend was another huge favorite of mine that made me run out the door and get What Are You Going Through, which I also loved, and I just wish there was more of her beauty out in this world that I could consume, because I just love her. So yes, definitely Sigrid Nunez, 100%. Newest fictional crush, I haven't read anybody that I've been like, oh, they would be, I can't think of anyone. Maybe the husband, I think his name was Patrick from Sorrow and Bliss, although he was kind of problematic. So, but I just thought he was really like sweet in terms of how supportive he was, and maybe not him. I don't know. I'm like blanking because I feel like we had some issues with him as well. So Patrick wasn't all that great either. So maybe not Patrick, actually. I don't know. I did love that book though. But that's not the question. I don't know. I can't think of anybody that I would be crushing on. I don't know. Maybe Celine, but no. That's not really a crush. Celine's more like my younger cousin or like little sister that like I just love, but not in a romantic kind of way. I don't know. We're gonna skip that one. We're moving on. Newest favorite character? Well, Celine. I just friggin' love her from Either Or, if you are unfamiliar with who I'm talking about. Like I said in that reading vlog, I just see that character as a cousin or a sister, and I just see so many things that I love about her that I can relate to so much. And yeah, I love her. Yeah, Celine. And Gary On, actually. Gary On from Autobiography of Red. He's so darling. Like, I just want to give him the biggest bear hug and just hold him in my arms and tell him everything's going to be okay, and just drench him with light and love, because he's such a melancholic blue baby that I just want to show him some love and light. So it would probably be Gary On too, actually. Just so darling. Okay, a book that made you cry this year. I don't think any book has maybe The Seas made me cry a little bit. Yeah, I can't think of any book that has made me cry yet. I really freaking hope that a book makes me cry. I love it when that happens. If you have any sad reads, please leave them downstairs, because is that weird? Like, sometimes I do like a good cry that's associated with a book. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Maybe The Seas made me cry, although maybe it made me teary-eyed. It didn't like fully make me sob on the page, you know? Okay, book that made you happy this year. Oh, The Book of Delights. Oh my gosh, by Ross Gay. I love that man. I just love his outlook on this world. After reading that book, I honestly was like 30% happier for the for the time that I was reading that book. I literally would go out into the world and just admire the weeds on the sidewalk, look at the birds chirping, look at the vibrancy of the flowers outside. I mean, it really just cast a spell on me, and I was just in it. Like, it was such a delightful experience. Seriously, please read that book. It is so gorgeous. It is nonfiction. He sets out to write every single day for 1 year about anything and everything that brings him joy, that is a delight. It can be something so simple and little and inconsequential as, like I said, the weeds in his garden, to a beautiful conversation that he has with a stranger. I mean, that book was just so gorgeous. So that book made me so happy, as well as Upstream by Mary Oliver. I also spoke about that book already on a reading vlog. Beautiful nature writing. Again, it just made me appreciate the natural world around me, and it just made me so happy. I think just nature writing and books and beautiful, funny, charismatic people just bring me so much joy, and the way that they can evoke these feelings within me via words on a page, I just find to be like the most magical thing ever. So yes, please read those two books. Most beautiful book that you've bought or received so far this year, The Passions of New Eve. I have to say, Carolyn spoke about that book. Not only did it sound so interesting, but the cover, as soon as she put the picture up, I was like, what book is that? I must own it. I must have it. And bada bing, bada boom. I mean, come on. This is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I love it. So yes, this is the most beautiful, hands down. Last question. What do you need to read by the end of the year? I really want to read my Jamaica Kincaid books that I showed in my haul. I also really want to read the second of it's not My Brilliant Friend Quartet. What is it called? You know the one I'm talking about. I'll insert picture here. Yeah, I really want to read that one. I want to read A Journal of a Solitude. Basically everything and anything in my TBR. I want to try and get through as many books as I possibly can in July and August, because I don't know how my reading is going to be come law school in September. So I don't know what that's gonna mean for me and you, but hopefully I can pop on here with the delightful law books that I'll be reading that will be occupying most of my days. No, I'm kidding. But I hope to be doing some reading, just not at the capacity that I've been going at for the past 2 years. So that'll be interesting. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. Yes, I do want to be super intentional with my reading for the next 2 months because I just want to cherish this moment in my life that I'll likely not have for a long time. So yeah. Anyways, those are all the questions. I feel like I spoke a bit fast, so apologies. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these, or if you do pick any of these up, please let me know. I hope they make a mark on you like they did for me. Apologies for the lighting, and we'll see each other soon. Bye.